Blizzard dropping some last-second changes to 12.0.7. That thing's going live soon, and we're still getting some quick fixes into it. Honestly, they upgraded a lot of shit, and we'll talk about that. Also, some 12.1 stuff to get into here. That's right, boys. Looking ahead already. We're always looking ahead in this game. So let's go ahead and just jump straight in, why don't we? Here we go. Blizzard clarifies that the Mastery of the Timeways buff is not account-wide. That's right. Just yesterday, I sat here like a buffoon, telling you guys that this thing was going to be account-wide and how this is great and it's going to work for your alts, and now you can go ahead and gather your Turbulent Timeways buffs, your Mastery of the Timeways buffs on multiple characters at once every week. It's not going to work that way, and that's not my fault. Blizzard felt like so many people misinterpreted the blue post that they had to release another blue post today clarifying that. So here's what they said. They said, we've updated the article to clarify that the Mastery of the Timeways buff how the Master of the Timeways buff works. Please note, it is not applying count-wide, though it does persist through death. Once more, the Bronze Dragonflight has discovered a growing disturbance, and rapidly intersects with the crown. This event will run from June 30th to August 11th. It should be, Arcanimus says in chat. I agree, it should be. I don't know why this buff doesn't run. If you guys remember, this actually broke the game. The last time they did the Mastery of the Timeways, or it was 2 times ago. It was two turbulent Timeways events ago, where people ran this thing so hardcore on their alts, they actually busted the buff and got them out in 1 week, when this thing was supposed to take 4 weeks or 6 weeks, actually, back then. If they made it account-wide, you're not going to have that problem anymore, because everybody could just run it on an alt, and it just locks you up for a week, no matter which alt you're on anyways. But here we are. Blizzard doesn't want it to be that, so... yeah, it didn't. This is how it is. So what are we going to do? Blizzard went back and said it's not an account-wide thing. So you're still going to have to gather this buff up on one toon every week for 4 weeks. You got a 6-week event. You're going to have to do this 4 out of those 6 weeks to get yourself this badass spawn of the Viranath mouth. Again, if you miss out on it during the Timeways event, don't worry. You can always purchase it in the next one when the next event goes live, just like you can right now with these Shadowlands mounts. These ones were previously available. These bronze Shadowlands mounts were the ones that were from the previous event, now purchasable with your Time Warp badges. So there you go. If you miss out on it, that's all right. You're gone on vacation or something. No FOMO here. You can just have to get it later. Moving on to some quick changes that went into effect. 12.0.7 is going live soon, but Blizzard's still hot fixing some stuff in the background, or I should say hot buffing some things in the background. That's right. They are buffing the crap out of these new World Quest zones and new, I guess you could call them tiered or world tier stuff. So let's check this out real quick. We're talking about normal and heroic world quests. Right now, they up the ante on what these things are actually going to give us. So for normal world quests and rares, in Val and Nagital, the 2 new zones we're getting, you will get champion crests dropping from those. Previously, it was veteran crests. For heroic world quests and rares, they will now be dropping heroic crests. Previously was champion crests. So that's pretty darn good. I mean, that's a nice little farm now for heroic crests. Now, some of you guys will say, I'm all mythed out, Sam. I don't need these heroic crests anymore. Well, you can convert them over. So if these things actually drop at a decent rate and you get a decent amount of these from these world quests, this will be a nice way to quickly gather up some myth crests too, because you convert them over, get ready to upgrade that gear as well. Also here, World Quests, events, and rares now have increased XP rewards for players under 90. So they're also trying to introduce this as a really good way to level up your alts. For vendor rewards, we have mounts, pets, and weapons that require an achievement have had their costs reduced. And I talked about this when these first came out. Some of these mounts and stuff, so you have to get an achievement to be able to purchase them. So yes, you get the achievement. You don't unlock the item or get the item automatically. You got to go purchase the item. You basically unlock the ability to purchase the item. And I felt like that was a bit cumbersome because some of those prices were kind of high. So they're reducing the prices. They say we want to keep them on the vendors for increased visibility, but they should be instantly purchasable once you get the achievement. So they want to make the price basically kind of a non-thought that you're going to have the amount that you need to purchase these items if you get the achievement. So that's a good change on Blizzard's part. Also, new power gear caches from Marin Silverwing in Silvermoon City. Players can now purchase Warbound Champion gear boxes for specific slots for 100 field accolades, or they can also purchase slot-specific heroic gear for 750 field accolades. This is nice, the fact that they're making it, slot specific, because previously we just had kind of the randomization. You buy one, you're not sure what you're going to get. You could get any piece of item or any slot item, so that's good. And then finally here for weapons and items in general, the changes to repairing. This is a big deal, especially for tanks. Going to be really happy with this one. I complained a while ago about how I think repair costs at Midnight were just a bit over the top. And people in chat called me crazy, saying, no, they're the same as they've always. Oh, Sam, you just got to do some profession shit. And then here we are. I was vindicated once again, just like I always am. It's crazy. This happens. But here we go. Blizzard noticed that the repair bills were getting out of hand, and they put in this little hotfix here. Weapons and armor, as I said before, will no longer take durability damage from combat, attacking, blocking, etc. The developer notes on this say, this type of durability damage affected different classes and specs in an asymmetrical way. With this change, all players should experience less durability damage in 12.0.7, but in particular, players who use shields or fast weapons should see significantly less durability damage from wear and tear. So there you go. A nice little change up there. We did the math on these, and it was actually like a 50% discount, basically, on repair costs. So a nice big one. Yeah, fun detected. Are we talking about this? Are we repair bills, or was it a previous thing I was talking about? Cool. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Good change. I think this is a good thing for sure. And I'm happy Blizzard did this. Definitely. My wallet is happy as a tank that Blizzard did this. Moving on to a little problem, though. Something that I wish they would hotfix in this patch, honestly, and that's frontals. Yeah, full frontals. That's what I'm talking about here. As a tank, I do feel like frontals are kind of hard to see, especially if we're looking at the Beleren fight. When you're talking about the yellow frontal on the yellow ground, of course, Blizzard loves to colorize shit the same way in this game for some reason. Monochromatic fighting, basically. Frontals in the game are still a bit hard to see. This is a complaint that we're hearing from a lot of players. Specifically, you see it in the Beleren fight, but that's not the only one, where people are dealing with, basically, you got frontals out there that are hard to determine where the edges are specifically. There's a lot of frontals out there, you're not sure how far it goes, because the way Blizzard kind of shows it is it fades a little bit, but you're not sure exactly if you're far enough that the fade is not actually affecting you. Again, here we also see for Dread Breath, we have purple frontals on purple ground. This is something that Blizzard, I don't know why they haven't figured out yet. Please don't make the freaking abilities that show up on the ground the same color as the ground itself. But here we are still dealing with stuff like that. They also like to do this brown shit. Also here, this is what I was talking about in Skyreach, where the front of the frontal is a little bit hard to determine where exactly it ends, because Blizzard kind of has it just shaded out. The edges are a bit more clear here in these ones, but where does it stop? Is the center a clear spot that you can stand, or is it just faded out and still going to hit you if you stand there? Windrunner Spire, we see the same thing happening here, where you got like a clear whitish frontal. What is this, some splooge on the ground? I have no idea. I can't really see it. And then you stack that with other people's spell effects. It's just a bit hard to determine sometimes where this thing is. So I think Blizzard's next maybe hotfix for 12.0.7, colorize frontals a little bit more, give them some more solid outlines. I will say one thing that I do like more about World of Warcraft than, say, a Final Fantasy is there's a bit more of a natural look to abilities on the ground. I don't really like the highlighter colored outlines of shit on the ground. I think it's a bit immersion breaking. I like a flaming explosion on the ground to kind of look like flaming explosions happening, and not a highlighter color with solid lines outlining where the edges are. I just think they need to colorize things a little bit better, make them a little bit darker maybe, just so it shows up a little bit more. It's definitely inconsistent. It is, yeah. It is inconsistent, and a little bit more consistency, a little bit more visual acuity would make things nice. Damn, I'm using big words today. I feel massively cocked right now. Okay, moving on to 12.1, guys. We have some interesting stuff to get in here with 12.1. Yes, we're looking ahead now. This shit's dropping. The patch is dropping right now, 12.0.7, and that means we're looking ahead to the next patch, boys. And the next patch is a doozy. 12.1 means the kickoff of a new season, new raids, new dungeons, and everything else. Let's dive in here and talk about what we know. So patch 12.0.7, we know, is now releasing on June 16th. Your boy called it 4 weeks ago. No big news there. Our eyes are now settled on 12.1, Midnight's first big content patch, and what we should expect from it. In this post, they're going to talk about everything that's coming in the update, what we know so far. So 12.1, when is it going to go live? Well, I mentioned this. a long time ago. I love when they write an article. They watch my shit for sure, I guess. But anyways, Turbulent Timeways. I told you guys when the Turbulent Timeways event, we got the dates for it. Originally, it was supposed to start on June 16th to August 11th, and they pushed it back 2 weeks to June 30th to August 11th. And I told you guys when that happened, I didn't think that meant the patch was being delayed. I think they said they were just going to delay the event. I still felt like June 16th was going to be the launch date for 12.0.7, and then Blizzard announced that the Timeways event was going to be shortened to a 6-week event rather than an 8-week event like was previously given to us. So June 30th to August 11th, what that means is really 12.1 is probably launching on August 11th. Surprise, surprise, it's on a Tuesday, right? Which is when NA servers typically get an update. We would see Wednesday for the EU servers. But right now, August 11th, it does line up pretty well. Lines up on a Tuesday. This wouldn't be the first time that we've seen Turbulent Timeways end and a new patch kick off. Same timing. So this totally makes sense. August 11th, I think, is a good, solid, lock-it-in date for 12.1's release date. This should be something that kind of we set up. It also does line up perfectly with the 8-week patch cadence that we've been seeing throughout this expansion right now as they've laid out kind of how this shit is all going to work, you know, in the roadmap and everything. The 8-week patch cadence has been pretty consistent. And yes, surprise, surprise, 8 weeks does land us on August 11th as well. So what's coming in 12.1? Besides players themselves, we expect that the Midnight campaign to continue with Season 2. New delves and an item level bump across the board. New Mythic Plus dungeon rotation and a brand new raid. It could be brand new raids, actually. Now, you know, we get multiple raids in a season now. Maybe they break it up kind of the same way they did with Season 1. I actually like the raid breakup. I did feel like it led into the patch, made the start of the patch feel a little bit, I don't know, more exciting for longer. But we'll see if they do more, break up raids, or if we just get one big one this time around in 12.1. Looking at 2026, the roadmap for WoW, we're also getting a new zone, new dungeons, new world bosses, and of course, housing updates for all the decor whores out there. Will 12.1 be a troll patch? I will say yes. I'm going to tell you guys right now, yes, 12.0.7 has hints at that already. We see with the lore walking, right? We're getting a Loa lore walking update. I mean, no surprise there. We're going to learn more about Loa because, we're going into like a Loa-based patch. When we're talking about trolls, you got to talk about Loa. And it makes sense that, the next patch is going to be about trolls, so they're kind of refreshing us on Loa lore leading into this patch. So that makes sense. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Alt-Utek. Okay, or Altal-Utek. This is the new zone in 12.1. It's actually already in the game. It's the Isle of Fangs, that's what a lot of us call it, sitting right there right now off the coast of Zulaman. And this is probably where we're going to be going for this next patch. So there's a bridge right now that's broken in the game. I guess we'll rebuild the bridge in some way, or maybe we take a ship over there. But it's right there off the coast of where we currently see Zulaman. For details about the foe that we're going to be fighting, Altul-Utek, in the troll raid, if you don't know, this is supposedly a very powerful snake-based Loa. This is not a spoiler. This stuff's already kind of known to a lot of players and lore fanatics. This snake Loa was used to fight against the old gods back when they were a problem and the trolls were dealing with them. But the problem was this guy was a bit OP. That's right, he was a big OP, and he went off on a crazy tangent after killing the old gods, and he kind of had to be in prison, basically, to stop him from destroying a lot of things that the trolls are worried about. Now, right now, we see our boy, Zul'Jan, I think is his name, and he's a bit of a power-hungry troll boy. He wants his troll boys to return to glory, right? He wants the Amani trolls to kind of ascend to their powerful days once again, and he thinks using this crazy powerful, slightly uncontrollable Loa is a good way to do it. So we'll see how that works. He's probably going to free the Loa. We end up killing it. Shit like that's going to go down. PTR testing, internal at least, and internal builds has begun at Blizzard, so it seems like this thing's rolling out on time. We've seen encrypted builds multiple times now come out for this thing. Matthew, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our Scourge. Since then, Blizzard has released multiple internal build updates on May 7th and May 13th most recently. So they continue, actually May 21st is the most recent update to the build. So they continue that. While we cannot we cannot data mine its content, it's pretty clear that Blizzard's 12.1 development patch is moving at a steady pace, and we expect the patch to hit PTR realms shortly after patch 12.0.7 goes live on June 16th. That's right. So Fun stuff to look forward to. I'm excited for 12.1. I'm excited for 12.0.7. I think there's going to be some fun stuff to do in there. And the updates recently that Blizzard put out on the rewards and everything, I had thumbs up on that. I think that was good stuff. Overall, we'll continue to keep up with all the news. But for today, that is all in terms of news.